Hi guys, how you doing? My name is Joy and I'm so happy to be talking to you. Welcome to the Why Not Show, where we believe that if others can, you definitely can. If others can, you definitely can. I'm so happy. I think we last did a video with my mother long ago. I think it is now 6 years or so.
Is it
actually
that long?
not just 6, I think even 8.
Wow.
Or something. So it was a long time. And for those who don't know her, I'm going to allow her introduce herself with all our, and then we'll just have a conversation to lift you up. I know the tongue is very, very important. So the way you use it is very important. And we are trying to use it today to lift someone up who feels down at such a time. Hello, Marie.
Hello, my beautiful daughter.
Welcome. By the way, we're streaming live from Ireland. So please introduce yourself to anyone who is watching you for the first time.
Okay. Hello, my name is Kassandra Edwards. I'm Joy's mom, and my husband, Scott, her father, are here today to enjoy being with Joy and with Summer, who is absolutely adorable, and we're having a wonderful visit together.
Yes. So, Mommy, for someone who doesn't know you in your career life,
okay,
would you just give us a little snippet outline of who?
Okay. Well, I am a licensed clinical social worker, or some people would say a psychiatric social worker, which means I do counseling with people. And I've been doing that kind of work for many, many years. I worked for the local county where I lived. Then I worked for a private agency called Family Service Agency. And then I worked in a psychiatric clinic through Kaiser, which is the name of the health plan and the clinic. And I particularly work with children, although I also work with adults as well. I love my work. I have since retired from Kaiser, but I have what's called a private practice in my home. So people come to me for counseling in my home. Mainly now I have mostly adults, but I do sometimes get children as well.
Oh yeah, children like how old?
6 and up.
6 and up. Oh wow. Because I was going to say I'll come for counseling. And
no counseling for Summer. Sorry, she's too young.
Oh, lovely. So it is another beautiful day, and I'm so happy. Today we are going to speak about, we're just going to share about self-worth and self-esteem, and of course anything that will come in between that. So if someone comes to you, let me say if I've come to you and I'm like, today I don't feel myself. I feel so down. I feel so like whatever is happening to me, the good things that I don't deserve and the bad things that happen to me that I deserve. So it's kind of like a twisted mindset. How would you encourage me if I'm feeling like that right about now?
Well, first of all, I would ask you to think about what has triggered those thoughts. Because your thoughts affect your feelings, and your feelings then affect your behavior. So something is triggering what I call negative thoughts. And when you have those negative thoughts, the philosophy is to repeal and replace. That means delete, delete, delete any thought that is not a helpful thought, a thought that I call a hurtful thought, like I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve this, things of that sort. So you repeal that, you delete it, you get rid of it, and you replace it with something positive. Now, everybody makes mistakes, and so one of my coping thoughts that I suggest for people is, if I make a mistake, I will learn from it. So you wake up in the morning and you say to yourself, I deserve to be happy, safe, loved, and successful. And I will do it. That's your beginning,
Mantra.
your mantra at the beginning of the day. At the end of the day, I suggest that people keep a gratitude journal. So every night before you go to sleep, you write 3 things that you're grateful for. I'm grateful for my talent. I'm grateful for my parents who love me. I'm grateful for having a beautiful daughter, for example. But everybody has their own things that they're grateful for. So you have in the morning and at night something you can do to increase your self-worth. The other thing I think about is to think about the people that you're associating with. Are those people helpful people or hurtful people? If they're people that make you feel bad about yourself, again, delete, delete, delete. You get rid of them. You don't need that in your life. Now, you can do it in a kind and loving way. You can say, I know you mean well, but what you're saying now is very hurtful to me or is hurting my feelings. So please don't. Something like that. You're setting limits. The way I think of it is you're always training people how to treat you. And if you let them treat you badly, they'll continue to treat you badly. But if you set a limit and say it's not okay to say and do things like that, they hopefully will stop.
Hopefully.
Okay, if they don't stop, then you just keep your distance. So you don't let them get into your heart or into your mind to undermine your self-confidence.
Yeah, because that thing, actually, speaking of that, we can also touch the topic of creating boundaries, especially if you're trying to get your confidence back. Because many times, for me, kind of like a people pleaser, and every time I thought, let me say, if I come to you for advice and you tell me something, because I have brought myself, so I feel the need to go by whatever you told me, even if I know at the back of my mind, maybe I would have twisted this way to fit me because I know myself better. But because I went up to you for advice, I feel like I need to do. And then it may be hard for me to create a healthy boundary. Because to you it might be healthy, but you fear, you don't want to disappoint people.
Yeah. See, that is a problem for many people, if not most people, that if you ask someone for advice, you feel like you have to follow it, even if it's not good advice. So sometimes I think it's better to start out the conversation by saying, I'm not coming to you for advice. Right now, I just want to have someone that's a good listener, and that you can listen to what I have to say, but don't feel like you've got to help me solve my problem, whatever it might be.
Doesn't that come off like you're being mean? Yet because there's a point where the people that you go to for advice will always carry you as the vulnerable victim person instead of carrying you as you. And then when you try to express it nicely to them that I appreciate you, I would love someone to talk to, if you really care about me, I would appreciate if you listen to me. And then can't they think like, so why are you coming to me if you just want me to listen and you don't want me to say anything?
Well, the answer to that is everybody needs a good listener. Okay. Not seeking advice, because sometimes it's just valuable to have someone to listen and for you to hear yourself talk as you express yourself to this friend. And if you feel that the person is with you, if you know what I mean, that there's some good communication, they don't have to say anything. They can just be a good listener. And I always like the term, thank you for sharing. Okay? That as the listener feels honored that you would open up your heart, open up your mind to share things in a personal way. So it's an honor, really, to be a confidant.
For someone to confide in you.
Someone you confide in. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Because I think to me too, it's because we are touching self-worth. Because there's a time when you reach, you're like, okay, now I am more into, let me say I've been speaking to you for a while. And I've reached at a point when I feel like, yeah, whatever advice you've given me, I'm going to use it. And at some point, it may be like I have to use it against you. In a way that if I'm standing up for myself, if there's a need or if there's a time that I have to be maybe cut communication for a period, like whatever you're telling me, if someone is treating you this, and then maybe along the way I can speak to you and I feel like that from you, and then I have to cut you off for a period, then I'll feel like I'm afraid to do that. Because it's like you want someone you've been getting advice from to always feel like you need them, which is very important. But at the same time, you feel like, am I shrinking myself to stay, or am I actually trying to grow,
and expand?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So how do you deal with that if you're on this other side of?
Well, I think sometimes part of setting a limit is to say to someone, right now I just need some alone time. I need some time to be by myself and think things through. And I'll get back to you sometime later, something like that. So you're describing what you need to that person who presumably is a close friend or is someone you trust. But you still, no matter how close or how much you trust them, you still need some alone time to process things on your own, because that's how you get stronger. And the thing that's interesting is, it's true that if you ask someone for advice, you feel sort of obligated to do it. And that's where the problem lies. So I think you need to say, thank you for your advice. I'm not sure that I'm going to be following it, but I appreciate very much your thoughts and ideas. Something like that. So that they get the idea that you are going to solve this on your own. But you might take information from other people that might help you make a better decision.
And then they may feel like they're used. Oh, why did you even have to come to me?
No.
Because when you're a long time on this side, you feel like you don't want to disappoint.
Well, that's true, but I still don't think it's a matter of being used. I think in a close relationship, hopefully, you can talk about anything, including the fact, right now I just need some alone time, and set that as a boundary or whatever you want to call it, a limit. But that's an important part of your own sense of self-worth. Because self-worth is not determined by how somebody else thinks about you, whether it be a friend or even an enemy or someone who loves you like a parent. The self-worth comes from above, in a sense, from the Lord, but also from within you. And that's what you need to be aware of. So if I disappoint you, well, that's part of life.
Wow. I think you just have to build that inner self to stand strong, and you're like, I've got this. Because I think many times you try for people in that, because I say people in that because I'm a living testimony for, feeling that way. So because you feel like you reach at a point when you're like, I got this, and then you're like, yeah, but I think I still need to lean back. So you trust yourself, but don't trust yourself, because you feel like you always have to someone else has to always approve whatever
Right.
step you need
And
to take.
if you catch yourself doing that, you say it. Oh, I'm slipping up here. I'm looking outside myself for approval rather than inside and above. That's where the approval comes from, not from George or Pete or Tom or Susie or Karen or Mom. It doesn't come from them. It's from within. And so I love the idea of visualizing. That you take deep breaths, maybe you close your eyes, and you visualize peace and love and happiness in your life and what that looks like. So maybe you have a picture of you holding Summer and she's loving you and you're loving her. I mean, that's a visualization you sort of can carry with you. Or you can see yourself doing a great job in your work and having really meaningful shows that people say, wow, that helped me a lot. Joy really has a sense of what people need to hear. That kind of thing.
The relatable. Yeah, because actually, I think I've never done. I do, because most times, I think it's a period in life. Because the interview I had with you last time was kind of like, what do you do? Da, 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 you know. And now today I was just like,
no, but you asked me very good questions last time. Like one of the questions you asked me is, what's the hardest part about being a therapist or a counselor? That was a really good question.
actually, could you answer that?
Well, it may change from time to time. I think what I said at the time was dealing with the insurance companies because they're very picky. And if you don't fill out the claim form exactly the right way, they send it back and things like that. That's very frustrating. The work with the people themselves, I will say I'm pretty selective of who I take to work with. Okay, I don't take people who are severely depressed or even moderately depressed because I travel too much and I don't want to worry about someone killing themselves while I'm gone. And you know, when you do have people like that, then you have to have a backup therapist who covers for you when you're on vacation. I specialize in anxiety or worry. And so I help people overcome or deal with their worries. And frankly, I'm good at it. And my people get better. So it's very satisfying work to do. And to have people say, even after, you know, we've had a session and they walk out and they say, I always feel so much better after talking with you, you know. So that feels good. And I feel like I'm doing the Lord's work. I have something that I'm good at. I'm not a good singer. I'm not a good artist. I'm not particularly good athlete, but I am good at counseling. And that can help people to change their life. And that's wonderful. It's a wonderful gift, and I'm grateful to have it.
Wow. And you're very good at it anyway, because...
Well, you might be a little prejudiced now.
Because at some point I've been on the receiving end of the services.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're a mother, but at the same time, you put on that hat at some point. I'm a mother, but...
Well, I shouldn't, but I guess I do a little.
Yeah. But it's okay. Because sometimes I'm like, okay, if I have to go out there and then look for a therapist, because then I have to explain myself over again. Yet if you already know, it's easy to just say.
Yep.
Which is nice. Oh, God.
Yep.
So going back, there's something that you mentioned, because we are still speaking of self-worth. There's something that you mentioned that you know you are good at counseling. Sometimes if someone is battling that self-worth battle,
Yes.
you feel like you are not enough. I can be this high, maybe my career can be, and today I go and maybe interview the president of the whatever country that I may be in at a time, and I feel like, yes, I've made it. but then I look at so and so and so and so, and they have achieved this and this and this. Maybe they're age mates, and you feel like at this age I should be here. So how do you deal with not feeling enough?
Well, I don't like people to have shoulds, because shoulds in general is putting you down. I should have done this. I should have done that. It would have been better if I'd done this, that kind of thing. I think it's good to appreciate what you have accomplished and what you are good at. To look at yourself with an honest eye and say, I am good at
this.
Interviewing people, for example. But you can also say, and I'd like to improve in this way. Because even though I think I'm a really excellent counselor and my people get better, that's not saying I can't improve. I'm always thinking about, and sometimes if I have a difficult session coming up, I know it's going to be hard.
Tough.
I pray and I say, Lord, please give me the heart and the words to be able to help these people. And generally, I don't like doing couples counseling. For me, it is very triggering because my parents did not have a particularly happy marriage and they quarreled a lot. In some ways they were happy, but in some ways they weren't, and they would say mean things. My mom could say some really mean things to everybody. And so hearing that back and forth is distressing to me because it triggers memories of my own childhood or whatever. So that's why I don't do couples counseling in general. In general, also, I don't particularly do sex therapy. I've been trained in it because to get your license, you have to have training classes that you take in sex therapy and couples counseling. But I choose not to do those two things. Just because that's my comfort level. I don't think I'm really good at that. And so I would rather focus on what I am good at, like anxiety, for example, and improve in that way.
Oh. And if you say that you don't want to, because that is also another part, because you are a counselor. And like now, what happens if someone is, maybe they want to be counselors or therapists or those hard words that are sawa?
What?
The other, what is your title?
Psychotherapist?
Yes, psychotherapist. If someone wants to be like that, how do they separate the personal life from the person they're talking to? Because most times I think if people come to you, a lot of things they may say may trigger you at some point. How do you...
Okay, well, part of that is in your training, because to be a counselor or a psychotherapist, you have to go through a lot of training. You're an intern, you're a resident, you have somebody supervising you, and they ask you hard questions, like what were you feeling when the person said that? What did that bring up for you? Because you have to be able to not let your own stuff get in the way. And as I say, that's why I don't do couples counseling. But some people are very good at it. And so do what you're good at. If you're good at couples counseling, do it. If you're good at sex therapy counseling, do it. If you're good at working with anxiety, do it. Know what you're good at and focus on that and improving in that area.
Know what you're good at and focus on that and improve in that area.
Yes.
Well, Mommy, I don't know what else to say for this interview. Is there anything you feel like you need to share before?
No, just that if you find what you're good at, it's a very wonderful feeling. To feel as a counselor or as a therapist, you've helped someone basically to help themselves, because a person does their own healing. You're just the instrument that helps to bring that about. But it's very exciting, really, to see how someone can turn their life around and make a better life for themselves.
Wow. What is one of the most moments that you ever seen in your training or in your practice as a psychotherapist?
Well, gosh, that's a hard one.
Yeah, because I know there are like many, many, many.
Yeah, there are, and overcoming anxiety is really terrific. Like, I would have a client who was too afraid to cross the Golden Gate Bridge, which is what you need to do to get to Marin County. So their world was smaller because they couldn't cross the bridge. And so what I would do is work with them. This sounds kind of silly, but we'd actually go to the bridge
And walk it.
and walk it little by little. Each day we'd do it a little bit farther, a few steps, and until they can finally cross it. And that opened up a whole different world for them. Because if you can cross it by foot, you can then cross it by car or however else you need to do that. So that opens up a whole new world for them. And that's really very gratifying.
Satisfying. Actually, that is so good, because if there's something you need to work on, let me say I'm trying to be a photographer. I can't just sit here and I say I need to be a photographer. I need to take the steps, the small steps, until, however scaring it may be, like I want to drive. And like, I don't know. But then, like, unless you do it, that's when, like, if you do it, then you do it.
Right.
So that is a very good concept.
Yeah. I've also had people who had a phobia. Phobia means fear of airplanes, and they couldn't travel. They would only go by car or by train or bus or something. But to go long distances, airplane is much better. And so the fact that they were able to overcome their fear of flying, again, opened up a whole possibility for traveling.
Oh, yeah. Before we close, because you spoke about they were living in the small world and then there's this big world. Before we go, because I deal with, as if I'm a therapist, I deal with the mindset. There's a show that I do on the radio. I speak motivation, but like I base on like the mindset. So because you say there's a small world and sometimes you can have everything. I think spoke about that on my show today. You can have everything. You can have someone loving you, lovely parents, lovely everything, like you're safe, everything. But then something in your mind is not right, and you're just seeing yourself as if, you know, that smaller, very little version of you, or the failure version of you, the mistakes version of you.
Yeah.
All those bad things that you tell yourself.
Yeah.
How do you go from the darkness of the tunnel to the light at the end of the tunnel?
Well, you tell yourself that, exactly. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm at a rocky point now, but I know that, and then whatever the healing thought is, I'm going to get better at this. I made a mistake, but I'll learn from it. I know that I deserve a happy life and I will have it. Things like that. You feed yourself positives. And whenever the negatives try and sneak in there, you can just say stop in your brain. You might even visualize a stop sign, stop, and then delete and replace it with a happy thought. Okay, I made a mistake, but I'll learn from it. For example, if you're beating yourself up because you made a mistake. So everybody makes mistakes. That's okay. You know?
I'm going to get that camera closer to you and you give us your final advice. So your final thoughts on self-worth and like anything, or boundaries. Yeah.
Okay, my final thought is to love yourself. That's what the Lord wants for you. To treat yourself the same way that your best friend would treat you. Because in a way you are your own best friend.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.